Boom! What's going on, everyone? This is Steve Larsen. Welcome back to Sales Funnel Radio. I don't know what else to call this episode, so we're going to call it Offer or Die.
I've spent the last 4 years learning from the most brilliant marketers today. And now I've left my 9-to-5 to take the plunge and build my $1 million business. The real question is, how will I do it without VC funding or debt, completely from scratch? This podcast is here to give you the answer. Join me and follow along as I learn, apply, and share marketing strategies to grow my online business using only today's best internet sales funnels. My name is Steve Larsen, and welcome to Sales Funnel Radio.
Hey, sorry for all the drama. Offer or die. Hey, I just want to illustrate a really important principle today for you guys. I don't know, it was a little while ago when I was running the Funnel Hackathon event, what would happen was these people would pay, 15 to 25, 30 grand to be in the room for 3 days. And I would help them go through and, as a program, first Russell went through and did it. And then eventually I had the privilege, the honor of going through and actually running it for him. And so people would come in for 3 days with me, and then Russell would come in the evenings and do like these spot trainings. It was really cool. It was a really powerful event. And something that I noticed from that event was that it was weird. I didn't expect this to happen. The fastest success stories always came from people from that event, right? Either they were already killers, right? They already were very super versed, or they came through that event. And that was kind of it. It's not to say, I'm sure there's other like anomalies throughout there, but that was a general pattern. As most people, if they came through that event, they had this really quick success, or they already had skills before they came into the funnel, the ClickFunnels world. And that was a powerful lesson for me, because what I started realizing was like the role of that event. And I was helping to run them. And so I come to you today wearing this amazing snapback hat to teach you what I've done as I've learned that principle and as I learned that lesson. Live events, there's something to them, right? Somebody's willing to schedule time to come to a live event, right? Get the babysitter, take off work if they're working a 9-to-5 or their own business, right? The person who goes in and they organize the flight in the hotel room, right? And they actually take the time, they take the time to show up and actually do that. That's not the same kind of individual of somebody who just wants to download a members area and just consume content in their basement. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the same kind of person. So it was interesting to me because usually it was about maybe like half the crowd every time. They were small groups. It was like 60 people, but it's an expensive room, right? And a lot of people who were in there, they either were already successful or they were brand new and serious. And I think that was one of the reasons why the success rate of the event was so high. Whether it had much less to do with whether or not they were already successful. It was intent, right? It was why they showed up in the room. So what's fascinating is like, what I started doing was like, I started asking myself, like, that event isn't run anymore. And there's been this hole in my heart ever since. And I've always wanted to kind of bring that back a little bit, because it was fast, it was furious, it was 3 straight days, it was very focused. But by the end of it, it was very workshop style, where at the end, they had all these outputs. And they're like, sweet, I got my sales message. Awesome, I got my offer. Cool, here's my funnel, right? And for the most part, we would get probably 80% of that done. And what we didn't get done was the easiest things they could do on their own, right? And there's tons of ways that they could get that stuff done and lots of pre-built things for them. What I focused on, and what we focused on over there, was specifically all the things that it was very hard to do on your own, right? And those are the events that I appreciate to go to the most, was more workshop style. I don't want to be spoken at. Even OfferMind, it's not just let's just listen to Steven speak for 3 days or whatever, 2 days. I hate that. Okay. I'm not there. I'm there to network, but it's not why I go. I'm there to learn, but I'm not there to be spoken at. I really want to do things at events that are hard to pull off on my own, and would take me otherwise a huge amount of time or money to learn on my own. And so I think that's part of the reason why I was so successful back in the day. So what I decided to do was I'm not bringing that back, because it's not my event. It's a ClickFunnels Russell Brunson event, right? But what we decided to do is I knew that I've always wanted to have something like that, though. And I didn't want it to call it something con. I didn't want to call it something live. I didn't want to, right? Because a lot of people do that and it's cool. I don't know. I wanted to be a little bit different with it. And so what I decided to do was call it Offer Lab. And as the recording of this, right, I've done this several days, like 3 weeks ago, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. But as the release of this happens, what's happening in 2 days is the Offer Lab event. And I thought I'd tell you guys what it is because most of you guys don't know what it is. And so the purpose of this episode is I want to teach you guys how you can go in and create something that's highly, it's so cool. We're in this economy now where, marketing economy, where customer success equals the future of our companies. So if you can't get customer success for those who are buying from you, you're going to die, right? And so one of the questions I ask myself is like, how can I get faster results for those who purchase from me? And that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm telling you this right now. So that you can start thinking to yourself, like, how could I go do that? So the purpose of this episode today is I just want to walk you guys through what I've done to start answering that question. So I'm sitting here, right? And I was thinking, this is probably about 7 months ago. I was like, I want the equivalent of what that event was plus additional things, right? I want to bring it back 2.0. I want to bring it back in a very, even different than it was back then. And so what Offer Lab is from the core, right from the beginning, is a workshop. Now that's not that new, right? And so what's happening on Thursday, let me think back to when, Thursday when this episode will go out. Okay, it's happening on May 23rd, 4th, and 5th. It's only something I'm doing twice a year now. So far, I don't see a reason to do more than that. They're small groups though. And what happens is they fly in and day number 1, this is what they're all about to go through, right? Day number 1, oh, that marker is totally dead. Okay. Day number 1 though is this. That's a 1. Okay, day number 1, they are going through, and it's highly workshop style. They've already gone through a 2-month program where I teach, and then there's outputs they have to produce, right? I just hate doing that stuff at events because I feel like that's something I could do in a members area, which is why they're doing it in a members area for 2 months before they show up. I learned this the first time when the Funnel Hackathon event was happening, and what Russell and I realized is that they needed to go through a whole bunch of stuff before they showed up to the event. Otherwise, we end up just reteaching all the stuff that was in the members area. I don't want to do that. Why would I do that? Why would you come to an event where I'm just going to teach you the same stuff that you had inside of a members area? Okay. So what day number 1 though is a recap going through all that stuff. But it's highly, like they've already been going through it. There's a workbook. It's like, hey, go through this stuff. What's your market, right? And here's the things to gather from your market. And here are the things. It's like a 90-page workbook. It's very in depth. I know the last thing anyone needs now is content. So what it is very, very focused teachings with outputs, very specific outputs that build on each other. What's cool about that though is day number 1, they come in and it's not just workshop, but it's spot check. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and it's highly workshop as far as like, right, who are you selling? What are you selling, right? What's the core problem that you solve? What is your core offer, right? We're going in and we're doing a lot of the foundation pieces that most people skip when they're doing any kind of offer creation. Funny enough, I can't teach offer creation anymore without going into market selection. I can't see how to make it. I don't know how it works. I don't know how to do it without that. It's such a key piece. Okay, before I even think about an offer, before I think about a sales message or a funnel, or even how to launch, those are all marketing activities. What I need to do ahead of time though is market selection, okay? Market positioning. That is much more broad on a very high level, 30,000 foot view that massively affects the kind of offer I do build, the kind of launch campaign that I do run, right? The offer that I build, the sales message. I need to know all that stuff. But second, right? The first thing I need to go through is market selection. So that's really what day 1 is about. It's market selection, going through what the core problem is, going heavily through, like, it's an aggressive day. And we're gonna go late into the night too. And at the end of it though, they're gonna know very clearly, not just only what market they serve, the red ocean they're coming out of, the blue ocean and the scaffolding to build it. They're also going to know the core problem that they solve, which most people can't even name the problem they're solving in their business. Baffling, right? They're also going to know the core offer and how to build it, and likely it will be built. But it gets cooler. Okay, as I started thinking about this, I was like, okay, but like a lot of people do that. I'm Steve Larsen, baby. Like, how can I make this different than what everyone else does? Right? And so what I decided to do was like, we did a little brainstorm session here and we started thinking through. I was like, what everyone else always sucks at? It's the thing that I noticed that people had a hard time with at the FAT event was we would go help them build their actual slides in their webinar, which was so cool, right? I mean, that's like so unique, so awesome. We'd help them build the actual, we give them things for the funnel. We'd help them actually put together their offer. We'd help them actually think through a lot of their positioning inside of the market. But one of the things that I really wanted to go do, and what I noticed most people struggled with, was that after they had those things, the rubber meets the road at the spot of launch. Most people can't just get it out the door. And so there's two things I wanted to do on day 2. So here's what day 2 is. Okay, day number 2, let's put D2. Day 2 here. What I'm doing is I'm focusing specifically on the most lucrative style of launch campaigns that I see over and over again, regardless of what they sell, industry, product, price point, whether the sale's online or offline, okay? What are the launches that you can go do that pretty much always are a win, right? That's awesome. I love Jeff Walker. He has launch, okay? But that's really just teaching. There's really just like one specific style of launch that he goes through, right? Ask, the book Ask by Ryan Levesque. Love the book, great book, right? But that's really like, it's one style of launch. Those are great ways, but there's lots of other ways. I just went through a bunch. And so myself, okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm teaching launch strategies. Now that you know the core of your business, who gives a crap unless you can't cash flow on it? Like, right, cash isn't king, cash flow is king. So I need to make sure that the core offer that they build and that they've been building before they get there, what's the quickest way to cash? That's all I care about now, right? Now it's time to make them money. And anyways, so they have this core offer that they've built, and they know the things inside of it, and they know how to pull it off, and they know how to get it created if it isn't already, right? Because I got right now the people that are coming into it, this next one, this will be about 30 people-ish, and about half of them are new, and about half are existing. That's the beauty of why I've chosen this stuff. It's not just for somebody who's existing and killers. It's for all the people also who are brand new and they're trying to get their first offer out off the ground. So anyways, day 2 though is specifically about lucrative launch strategies. Okay, lucrative launch strategies. Lucrative launch, and then we go into evergreen launch. There's two different types of two different types of campaigns. There's an evergreen campaign, which most people run straight to, and they just turn Facebook ads on. There's nothing wrong with that, but you stumble over a ton of cash if you skip a launch campaign. They're very different. Okay, so I want them to know, like, first of all, here's how to lucrative launch campaign, but second of all, here's really easy things to do to turn on evergreen style campaigns. Okay, they're both campaigns, right? And you guys have heard my riff about ads. Like, anyway, so we're gonna go through evergreen campaigns. Evergreen campaigns. And then on top of that, the biggest one, the thing I'm most excited about for day 2 is I'm going to do the most insane deep dive on my content machine. There's a lot to it. There's far more than let's just repurpose this stuff and publish it all over the place. If you guys really watch what I'm doing on this stuff, it's I don't know, maybe I'll say it. It makes me sound conceited, but it's freaking cool, okay? And it's why there's such insurance in what I do. Anyway, so I know a lot of them are gonna be scared to publish. I get it. I was too. I know a lot of them are gonna be scared to repurpose. I get it. I know a lot of them are gonna be like, Steven, you're spending 20 grand a month on your content alone. I have to do that? No, you don't, okay? But I'm gonna go into the massive depths. I own mycontentmachine.com, which I'm super excited about, but I'm gonna teach my content machine, and I'm gonna go into insane depths. I'm not just gonna teach it, we're actually going to help them do it. So they're gonna be implementing that here on day 2, okay? Okay, now this is as far as I thought to go through when I first started selling this program. But I was like, it lacks a certain pizzazz, right? Like, I think one of the best things anyone could go do to their offer is to play devil's advocate. Go look back at your business. Why does your business suck, right? Or what are the things inside of it? I never look at it like it's perfect. There's always something wrong with the baby, right? There's always something wrong with it. And if I can look in here and say, what is it that is not good? Why would I not buy my own thing? Or what is the thing that is lacking the sexiness, right? Those are really important things to ask. It's one of my favorite ways to increase the sexiness of my offers. That's one of my secret weapons. I always red team, blue team my offer, okay? Right? This group's gonna come in and try and sell it, and this group is gonna go in and I'm gonna develop as strong a case against what I'm doing also. I red team, blue team my stuff all the time. I didn't realize that's what it was called until I heard Tim Ferriss say that in an interview once. But that's what it is, right? In the Army, we'd call it wargaming, right? Where on one side, you're going to go be the opposing team, and on the other side, you're going to have a bunch of officers. They are the defensive team. And if they, you know what I mean? And you're going to go as hard as you can at each other. And it's interesting what you learn in those scenarios, right? Red team, blue team, your guys' stuff. That's very coding. That comes very much from the coding world as well, right? I'm going to go in and I'm going to try and hack through your stuff, and I'm going to go through and try and defend it. And can we? In the best minds possible, trying to play the oppressive. And so I do that a lot of times with my stuff, and it'll just be on my mind. And one of my favorite things to do, in fact, I did it this morning, is to just put headphones on. And there's a playlist that I have called Insight Music. In fact, that might be the group name. Anyway, and it like gets me in state. And I will walk around. I did that for 3 hours this morning, starting at like 5:30. And what I like to do is walk around and I just brainstorm. There's not necessarily a topic. I'm just thinking. I love that. It's my favorite. Okay, I love it. It's one of my favorite things on this entire planet to do. I can't wait till I have more business structures built inside of my company, so I'm doing that like all the time, right? That's where my zone of genius comes out. So anyways, that's what I was doing this morning, and I was doing that to my offer though, and I was doing that to the Offer Lab event, right? This is Offer Lab. I was like, what else could we do? The thing that I hate the most about most events, is that when I'm gone from them, I can't say this is what that event created, right? I don't know a lot of times the outcomes for me having gone, right? So sometimes, and I know a lot of people are that way, and especially if you're in my audience, you're probably hard charging like that as well, and you're like, why am I going to this, right? That's like my biggest fear with OfferMind. I believe that's one of the reasons why OfferMind has been so successful already, is because my focus is on when you leave that, you will be equipped. You can actually say, this is what happened. This is what I've done. This is why things are different, right? The common denominator just changed and actually upgraded for all, right? All ships rose because I went to that event. I want that. Well, I definitely want that for OfferLab. And so I was thinking about that and I was like, how can I go, not just play devil's advocate, red team, blue team, how can I create this like, so that they walk away from it and they have something that they can say, this is what I did. This is why it was all worth it. Now, if you know anything about my content and my strategies and the way and what I teach, I focus heavily on market selection above offer creation. But Steve, you're the offer guy. Yeah, I don't know how to choose the offer or create the offer without first selecting a market, right? That should say something about my models for offer creation. So first what I'm doing is, right, they're going in and they're creating a market, they're choosing a market, and then creating a market. The market actually shifts as they learn to sell their core. So anyways, I don't want to get too deep into that here. There's a ton that I can't teach on my podcast. Someone was asking me like, Steven, you give so much on your podcast for free. What is inside your sales programs? I feel like it'd just be the podcast again. And I was like, it's like 3%. My podcast is like 3% of what I really do. Okay. I can't lead with that here on the actual show. So it's like, I try to teach cool little highlights here and there, but like, anyway. So what we decided to do was day 3, we added a third day. And what I wanted to do was, I don't know if you guys ever felt this way when you guys are first starting out, or maybe you are starting out, but like, it was always frustrating to me whenever I'd see some guru or some person that was out there, I'd be like, well, of course they can do it. They have a list, you know? Or they'd be like, well, of course they can do it. They have a video person that's awesome. I'm like, oh, what? Well, of course they can do it. They were able to spend thousands of dollars on an awesome headshot. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how much they were there, you know? Well, of course they can do it, you know, and I felt so outclassed. I couldn't function, I couldn't perform or compete in this space. And it was a false belief, but it was my belief, right? And I know a lot of people who watch this, or they've, you know, on my show or whatever, like, you've been there, right? And maybe you are there. You're like, well, I can't compete because it's Steve Larsen. Man, I wasn't Steve Larsen until like 2.5 years ago, right? And so I get it though. So what could I do? How could I arm these people? If the whole goal of OfferLab is to increase the value of one's core offer or help them build their core offer, what can I give them inside of their core offer that massively is a huge accelerant? Does the sale depend on a logo? No, but what if I helped them get one? Does the sale depend on professional headshots? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But what if I was to help him get that? Right? So what we decided to do, what we've been doing is, and I've been going through and I've been listing a bunch of cool assets that all of us marketers have that usually the new people don't, or even the people who are existing, they still don't. So we've been listing out assets, and it's just that. It's not the reason they buy, but it's still an asset. Right? It's still nice to have a cool logo, even though it's not what does the sale. You see what I'm saying? Still cool to have the nice splash graphic that comes in, even though it's not why they buy. Okay, it does help though. Okay. Anyway, so what I did is I started listing out all these assets, right? Look at all this stuff that these people have that most new people, or even existing ones who are kind of coming on the internet space, which a lot of my big clients are that way. They are existing. They're just trying to figure out how to sell better on the internet. What I've been doing is going through and listing like, hey, here's all these assets that a lot of these people have that I felt outclassed because I didn't have. What if day 3 was asset day? So that's what we're doing. What I've done is I've gone through and all the people who do my headshots, videos for myself, logos, motion graphics, all the stuff that makes this core offer come alive, right? Images, a lot of design styled stuff. How cool would it be if part of the third day was asset day? So what we're doing is we're putting them in a limo. And we are driving. I don't know. I grew up in Denver, Colorado. I would never have guessed that Boise, Idaho has this much tech, but it really does. ClickBank is here. Bodybuilding.com is here. ClickFunnels, obviously. There's actually a lot of tech. There's a very entrepreneurial space. I had no idea that Boise, Idaho was that way. I'm not gonna lie. I was at Boise, Idaho. Like, I had potatoes yesterday. You know what I mean? I was like, anyway. I had no idea though. So when I got here and I started realizing like, oh my gosh, look at all these cool assets, and a lot of the times I'd be watching Russell do that. I didn't know that I should think about having someone to do that for me. Oh, that's really cool that he's doing that. I didn't know that I should think about having somebody create that. Oh my gosh, that's really awesome. That's how you repurpose your episodes so well? Holy smokes. And it was interesting to watch all these assets. And funny enough, it doesn't actually cost that much money to pull off. It certainly doesn't cost 20 grand a month. Okay, if you're starting out, depends what you want in this life. Okay, but like, I'm not the one doing a lot of stuff in my, anyway, I'll another time. But what has been cool though is to go see and list out all the assets and all these things that I see most of these new entrepreneurs or existing entrepreneurs, the existing entrepreneurs will have it and the new ones want it. And even though it's not the thing that makes them sell, a lot of times it's what gives the new ones confidence. And so what we've been doing is listing, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know the person who is like the best in the area at the video, at the picture, at the motion graphic, at the logo, at the design for this, at this. And what we're doing is we're putting everybody in this logo. In the first half of the day, I'm actually gonna drive them to that person's like shop, at their actual office location for each of them to get their headshot, to go tell their origin story on a beautiful camera, to get their logo done, to have a splash graphic done, to go do like all the assets that will really help the core offer. Now, it's less about making it sell, because I didn't have any of that crap beforehand, but like it really does give confidence for the entrepreneur, whether they're new or existing. And so isn't that awesome? Then I was like, okay, how can we make it even more sexy? Okay, so the second half of the day, first half of the day, we're driving them around in this awesome, cool stretch limo, which I can't remember what kind it is, but it's really awesome. This big limo, and we're just gonna be round robin driving them to all these different locations, which would be super cool. Then what we're gonna go do, and I was like, okay, one more step of awesome. Okay, when I was studying to become an officer in the Army, a very common style of training is round robin. What we do is in this station, you're going to learn grenade throwing. In this station, you're going to practice buddy bounding, right? While one guy shoots to keep the other guy down and you're running forward and then you jump down and then you shoot to keep him forward, right? And then you go buddy bounding, right? In the next station, you're going to focus on how to call for medevac. On the next station, you're going to focus on and they're fast. It's only like 15, 20 minutes, but in like 2 or 3 hours, you get this baptism in each one of these skill sets, right? And then the next week you'll do the same thing and you get better and you get better and you get better. And I was like, what if we had something similar? So the last half of day 3, what we're doing, this asset day is huge. I'm so excited for it. And I'm glad everyone decided to come as well and extend, because it wasn't part of it. And I was like, it's lacking like the final punch, right? The final smack, my gosh, that was so cool, right? The smack in the face, the final thing. So what we're doing is I've invited my entire content team to come and be a round robin coach. So you can sit down with, right, my Instagram expert, my YouTube expert, my Facebook. Does that make sense? Like, that's a freaking massive deal. And they will look at your content and say, this is easily the reason why your Instagram isn't growing, right? 15-minute fast spot check coaching session. And in 15 minutes, it's like speed dating, right? And then you get back up and you go to the next person. Boom. You get up and you go to the next person. And the coach just stays there. And they're looking at your ad account or at your platform. Or, hey, this is like obvious sore thumb. Just change that. Like, how sick would that be? That's awesome. Okay. And then I was like, oh my gosh, let's follow the same principle. What if everybody in, you guys don't even know who this is, because some of you guys aren't, a lot of you guys aren't in my offer lab, which hopefully you guys are. Go to myofferlab.com if this sounds cool. Myofferlab.com is, and it's by application. We do turn people away. It's because it's a high touch program with me. It comes with a year of coaching, not just with me, but also other coaches, and spot checking and launching. It's my best program. Okay. It's the crowning jewel. Okay. And it's the thing that I dump tons of resources back into, both my Rolodex, my actual cash we dump in to make it. Anyways, it's really awesome. It's my high-end program. A lot of you guys ask for my mastermind. I don't have one. I don't know when I'm going to have one. I don't know that I actually want one right now. This is the next best thing to that. Anyway, so what we decided to do though, the same style. So we're going to do not just asset day where you drive everybody around, right? Then we go through a round robin coaching session, which is probably gonna be like 3 hours, 2-3 hours, where they're doing spot checks on all their content machines, because the easiest way to succeed if you just publish. Okay. And then number 3, like, what if I had my hero team come in? So the person who spot checks their systems in their business, the person who's going in and saying, your financials suck X, Y, and Z. Okay. The people that I use. Okay. I felt so like, I'm not going to make it. I don't know who the best of the best is, Russell, right? That was my thing. I'm going to move forward, man. But like, before I knew who he was, before I sat down next to him, before I worked there, like, my biggest hang up, one of the times was like, not one of the times, it was the majority of the time, was like, I don't know who the who's who is. I don't know who these people are. How do I know? Like, I'll do the 80% bare bones because I don't have the cash at that time. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I don't have time. I don't have money, but I have time, dude. Like, what am I supposed to do? Anyways, how cool would it be to have like my Facebook ads person come in, right? My business systems person come in so that I'm no longer the business. Oh, the people who run my financials, right? That's like a big deal. So I don't have to worry about it. They do all that stuff for me, right? Because they love it. I don't. That's great, right? My social media experts, right? Not just content, not just the content side of it, but like the actual setup of other aspects of the business. So now you do a round robin with the content machine. We also do a round robin spot training with all of the actual hero team as well. It keeps going. There's more and there's more and there's more and there's more. And it's freaking awesome. And now, right, you need all the stuff in day 1 and 2. You don't need a day 3 without day 1 and 2. You especially don't need a day 2 or 3 without a day 1. Day 1 is where you figure out what the heck you're selling, who you're selling it to, why they want it, the core offer that you're doing, and the core of your entire business. Don't even worry about anything else in your value ladder until you've got that, until it's proven, until people are buying it consistently. And you're not the business. You're not the funnel, right? Don't move on. Then you go into day 2, which is very much bringing it to market. How do you actually get cash from it? Not just how do you bring it to market, how does it sustain? Okay, those evergreen models. Really what keeps a blue ocean and a new product alive is content. So if you're not publishing, no wonder you're dumping so much money into ads. Okay, you gotta publish. Okay, so I'm gonna go deep into that and help them actually design a content machine, both starter and eventually the one you're gonna grow it into. Okay, and then day 3 is asset day. Let's get all the assets together to help make that core offer alive and live and breathe. And people see it, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't care what they're selling, right? You still need a lot of the same things regardless of what you're selling. And then on top of that, spot check coaching from the who's who inside my personal Rolodex. I mean, it's freaking awesome. So anyways, I've talked like crazy on this. I'm just really pumped. This is happening on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There's no room already. You need to come through the 6 weeks ahead of time. That's why I'm doing this episode. Okay, the 6 weeks especially, it's 2 months, but the 6 weeks ahead of time. The next one will not be for a couple months, but honestly, if you're brand new, That is a blessing, all right? It gives you a chance to go through it. We focus on it week by week. I'm on weekly coaching. I have other people come in looking at your funnels, looking at your offers. I have people coming in holding your feet to the fire. Did you get that asset done? Did you get this output figured out? Okay, it's not a cheap program for me to run, but it's highly effective. And it was after going through the FAT event, I was like, I want my own style of that. Very few things on this planet has ever got that level of results for the customer than that style live event. Okay, but anyways, that's why I'm doing it. So guys, I'd love to have you come to the Offer Lab, okay? Come to Offer Lab. Go to myofferlab.com. Not offerlab.com. The guy who was selling offerlab.com was selling it for so much money. Okay, this is ridiculous. I was like, no, I'll just put a my in front of it and buy it for $12. Okay, myofferlab.com. Go to that and you'll actually jump on the phone with us and we'll look through your business and see if you're actually a good fit. It's not a joke, it's a real application. Anyways, love to have you. Come to the next Offer Lab, which won't be for a couple months, but now you know. Go to myofferlab.com. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. Please remember to rate and subscribe. Hey, I know this game can take a few tries to get the money flowing, especially the first time, right? And that can suck. I also know from experience how frustrating it can be to know your business is just a few tweaks away from your next big payday, but you don't know what tweaks to make. I've felt completely paralyzed by that in the past, and it sucks. I've been blessed to work with thousands of new and successful businesses over the last 3 years, and two things have really shocked me. One, I began noticing the pattern to success is vastly the same, but everyone's spot on the path is obviously different. Secondly, I've been shocked and overwhelmed with the number of people asking for my help and my systems and funnels in their business. Well, until now, I've never had a system and product in my own business to help you build yours. And I'm finally able to be public about all this. If you'd like my help to build your offer, sales message, funnel, and even your content machine, go to myofferlab.com. The path to online and offline success is 80% the same regardless of the product, price point, or industry. And it works if you're new or already a killer in business. You can get more details on how to get my personal attention and frameworks in your own business by going to myofferlab.com. In-person classes are limited to 60 people each, and frankly, I can only do about 2 of these a year. Get more details and even jump on the phone with us for free at myofferlab.com.